systems and schemes through awareness and social reconstruction becomes expedient.
They never told you how you offended them?
I'm not on trial, so I can't go before.
Join the radio man Edmond Obilo on State Affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis, interviews, and world power play.
Nigerians must choose the path they want to follow. Follow the same looters and sponsors of violence who control the political structures or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on State Affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
Welcome to this edition of State Affairs, coming to you from State Affairs Studio. I am Edmond Obilo. Let me apologize for coming behind schedule. But we are on now, and we want to talk about the power of art. Art as a tool for nation building. There was a country, but my guest is suggesting that there was never a country. How? It's about the power of the mind to create reality. Is that not what art is all about? My guest, Tunde Odunlade, is a print and textile artist that interprets cultural forms, sending the message of Africa to the world in expression of her identity. Odunlade's works are in the collections of Smithsonian Museum of African Art and the World Bank headquarters in Washington, D.C. Some of his works are in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, the MacArthur Foundation Collection in Chicago, and the State House in Lagos. In Odunlade's art, delivered with contemporary and traditional techniques, is his examination of issues affecting humanity. Tunde Odunlade, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edmond Obilo.
How are you today, sir?
I'm fine. And you too?
You can see I'm bouncing.
Yeah, I can see you look sharp.
And you look artistic.
Oh, thank you.
What does it mean to look artistic?
Well, it simply means that you have art in you. And of course, art is an intent purpose of a man, that is now showing as a product, that you will communicate, that will heal, that will make man whole. That's what art does. It makes a man whole.
That means man, it's himself. It's an artistic being.
He is an artistic being.
My face is art.
Yes. And your face doesn't look like any other person's face. It's you. Well, there might be people who look alike. Like they say, there are at least 6 people in the world that look alike. One could be in Japan, the other one in Australia, or another one in Nigeria. But in the same vein, you are Edmond Obilo, and that's you.
And your work has some political explanations to make.
Indeed.
They have cultural effects to give.
Indeed. Indeed.
Before we begin to look at your work,
yes,
I want to measure your political temperature.
Okay.
You sent me a message.
Yes, I did.
And you quoted Chinua Achebe's title, There Was a Country.
Yes.
And you were telling me in the message that you were beginning to feel
Yes.
that there was never a country.
Yes.
Why are you feeling that way?
You know, thank you very much for that concern. It's a concern, you know, and this is coming from a mind that I've ruminated over, that I've a lot of things, and I've looked at things critically, you know, as human being. As human being, we have limitation. So it will get to a point when you look and look and look and look, and then you come to a conclusion and say, wait a minute, is this right? Why did I say there was never a country? I don't mean to put my country down, because if anybody is proud of this country, Nigeria, I am the one. I've lived for this country in a lot of ways. But suddenly I just realized that it could have been a much better entity than it's looking if we truly have a country. And how do I mean? There are many nations in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And each nation recognized for his or her own entity, for identity. That's arguable. Because I always say there is strength in diversity. So if your diversity no longer becomes strength, becomes weakness, then you don't have a country.
So you're saying Nigeria's diversity has become a weakness?
It has become a weakness.
Not strength.
Not strength. And it should be strength. Look how many languages there are. That means the number of languages will determine, if you like, the number of cuisine you have, the style of dressing you have, the kind of culture that you project. But all of those are supposed to be wealth for us. You go in the streets of America, and then you look to your right, you see one ethnic restaurant. Could be Pakistani. You look to your left, you see African restaurant. You look again, you see Chinese food. You look that way, you see German culture. Man, that's strength. Because a lot of people come from all over the world to come and experience that. If you're on the street of New York on Broadway, I can guarantee you 90% of the people on those streets are foreigners, hobnobbing with the locals. All right? Because they are coming here to come and experience things that ordinarily they may not see in their country. And that's part of why tourism thrives in America. And wherever it is you see tourism thriving, it means there is accommodation to embrace each and everyone's culture, ways of life, and so on and so forth.
So it's an example of good management of
good
diversity.
Management of diversity.
And Nigeria does not have that.
We don't. And if we had been smart enough, we would have seen that all these things are all around us. But we just need to be able to harness it. We just need to garner it and make sure that we put all of this in focus and it becomes wealth for us.
But artists like you have the responsibility to express this diversity in a way that lifts the minds of the people towards understanding themselves.
You see, there's a limit to how much you can do as an individual. So with my little, in my little way, I'm contributing my own quota. But does everybody have the same mind that you have? One is saying lift it up, the other one is saying pull it down. Look, I met one guy in Washington D.C. He happened to be the minister, one of the ministers in Jerry Rawlings' government. And then I said, wait a minute. You guys are now saying Jerry Rawlings should get out of office. Jerry Rawlings should go. He has spent enough. I said, look, if Jerry Rawlings goes today, how are you going to maintain that which Jerry Rawlings created? Without Jerry, that country would have still been in shambles. You know how he answered me? He said, Tunde, Ghanaians have experienced good governance under Jerry Rawlings. And whatever it will take to maintain that good governance, that's what we will do. Has Nigeria really experienced good governance?
You know, I have taken time to study your art.
Thank you.
I have visited your gallery.
Yes.
I have studied your works.
Yes.
In your work, I see hope. I see expression of the African beauty.
Thank you.
But the Tunde Odunlade before me now, I can see hopelessness about the condition of the Nigerian state. Why is that?
Because every time you make effort to do something, and then that which you have done is not seen to be yielding the desired result, then you begin to wonder, what is it that is going on? Frustration begins to set in. And then you begin to ask questions. Why is ABC turning to XYZ this way? And then you now see that majority of the people around you, they don't see what you see. Then trouble looms.
Do you see trouble looming?
I see trouble looming if something is not done to ensure that this country belongs to every one of us.
But a Yoruba man is in charge now. Do you still have that sentiment?
Look, it doesn't matter to me who's in charge. What matters to me is, what are you offering? We had all the hope in this world that Buhari regime. I went to the U.S. Congress to go argue for Nigeria. And I was there singing the praise of Buhari's, regime at the beginning, ab initio. This was precisely, I was at the U.S. Congress, April 14, 2016, saying that Nigeria under Buhari is going to be greater. Was it greater 8 years after?
Was it?
Your guess is as good as mine.
What is your guess?
My guess is that it should have been greater than it is.
Was it even great at all?
At all. Was it even great at all? This is a question all of us must be asking ourselves. This is the question all of us must be asking. So once you are able to ask that question critically, then you now sit down and look. If what I'm expecting is not what is happening, what do I do? It's going to come to a point in this country that all of our heads, our brain, will just pop. Boom!
And Tunde Odunlade will not be able to express himself artistically anymore.
Well, whatever pops out is what I will give. Whatever it is that pops out, that's what Tunde Odunlade will give. But of what good will it be if it turns out to be something negative? We don't want to wait to that point.
You have given me the parable, or allegory, as some would say,
yes,
of planting a bitter seed.
Yes.
And what do you get?
Okay. When you plant a bitter seed, all you have is bitter fruit.
A bad grape?
A bad grape. For instance, in winery, I studied wine a little bit in Canada. And one thing they will let you know is that you can't ever make a good wine out of bad grape. But you can make the best of the best wine out of good grape. That's the first thing they let you know when you are studying wine. So what does that mean? Is that when you sow a seed that is ab initio, not quite the right seed, you're never going to get any fruit that will be right. If you get it wrong from the beginning, you're never going to get it right at the end. So when you look at, I don't want to go into rhetorics of how Nigeria, became who we are, the amalgamation, the independence, the strange bedfellows brought together. I don't want to go through all that. We all know that history. So at a point, you say Nigeria, you can become, you pass out of school, you get a job, you have a job waiting for you. And now that's what we are using to judge Nigeria of the past.
I need to take you down history lane.
Yes.
Because before we came into the studio,
Yes.
we had a conversation.
Yes.
And perhaps you were trying to justify Ahmadu Bello's reason
Okay.
for telling Azikiwe and Awolowo to calm down a bit and not demand for
independence at the time they did.
Yeah.
And in the manner they did too.
So why are you having a rethink?
I'm having a rethink because it's never too late. There's always a second chance. Look, if a tree is giving you the wrong fruit, what do? You prune down the tree. You can bud another. You can plant grape that you see that grape is not giving you the best, then you bud a sweet orange over it. So we need to really come down to the basics in this country and retrace our steps and then see how, where, and when was it we got it wrong. And I just see that it all had to do with the concussion that gave birth to the country called Nigeria. The concussion. So we need to really sit down and look at it. Some will argue and say, oh, we need to restructure. Some will say this. Some will say that. But my point is that it cannot continue like this.
Let's come to your art.
Okay.
And I want to read you a poem.
Please do that.
Hearing of the meeting of the cats, restless the rats, surveying the holes, then a hot chase, and the mouse ran into the house. What am I saying? How the lyrics of this poetic song play out can be explained in the story of a hunter exploring the wild in search of the biggest animal on earth. The hunter's people wait with bated breath for the celebration of the defeat of the forest. After a sudden heavy rain, the hunter emerges in the kingdom with a beautiful maiden. What kind of story is this? If I asked Tunde Odunlade to cast this imagery in batik art, I would look forward to the interpretation of reality he will render. Don't ask me how. I have told a story that I don't even understand. Can you put that story in batik art?
Well, interpretation of anything in life has to do with from which angle are you coming, from which perspective are you approaching it, and what do you see that others don't see, and what do you say in a way that it becomes something of intelligibility to others. Nigeria has come from a long route that now we sit down and look at where we are coming from. And then we say, this happened so time, that happened so time. How did we on earth come to this? Like, for instance, there's a piece of art that I call common national interest.
Tell me about it.
And the common national interest says that what are those three things that a nation needs to have? Those things are good visionary leadership, then experience coming from the mind of the leaders and then from the led. And then whatever we all agree upon, we put on the table, and then we then execute what is executable out of what we put on the table.
Can this be expressed in a batik art?
Yes, it can. I have it on one of my pieces of artwork.
You specialize in batik?
In batik, and of course I've taken, batik is a common, medium, that is practiced all around the world. In Indonesia, which is the Jaffa print, they call it. But I've taken it beyond that. I now do what I call beaded batik quilt tapestry. All those three, bead, batik, quilting, combine to tell story and vividly to put across messages that each individual can take his or her own, irrespective of which country or which community you are coming from.
Now, let's do some history.
Okay.
I want to take you to the past.
Good.
I want to tap into your mind of the past.
Okay.
I want to talk about FESTAC 77.
Good.
The Leopold Senghor-led Senegal
Yes.
hosted the first edition of the Festival of Art in Dakar in 1966. Senghor was among the initiators of the idea of the celebration.
Yes.
They found the problems of Africa
Yes.
in the lack of strategic plots to salvage the continent.
Yes.
Therefore, the birth of a festival to project Africa in the images of its culture. You agree?
Yes, I do. And that's exactly what it is.
46 years after, Africa is yet to clearly interpret the spirit of FESTAC. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
You were in FESTAC 77.
I was in FESTAC 77. I was in the play Langbodo, which was Nigerian drama entry for FESTAC. And I think, when you mention Leopold Sedar Senghor, W.B. Du Bois, and a host of all these scholars came together, including even our own man too was down the line part of it, Professor Abiola Irele, the negritude, specialist. He was part of all that, the cooking of that from the beginning. Anyway, they came to the conclusion that Africans' history has to be told and by us, and in a very grand style. And they came to the conclusion that the way to do that, FESTAC will be one way by which they can begin to tell the story in a way that the world know who we are as a people and, of course, as a continent. And so in 1966, they had the first FESTAC in Dakar, Senegal. You were not there. I was not there. You were a boy there. I was a boy there in 1966, still running around, So, and the idea was that FESTAC was going to be coming up like every 5 years. But the next one, for some reason, did not happen, was not scheduled until 1975, of which General Yakubu Gowon was the head of state of this country then. But what happened with a military era, or any government, they are not there forever. So down the line, General Gowon's regime could no longer hold the 75 scheduled FESTAC. Then, as fate we have it, General Olusegun Obasanjo came in February 13, 1976. After the assassination of Murtala Muhammad. After the assassination of General Murtala Muhammad, may so rest in peace. And so, FESTAC was then reinstated and said, well, by 1977. So, Secretariat has been set up, even way back at 74, that folks have been coming around, from all over the world, those who were lovers of Africa culture. They've been coming. I have a lot of friends that we are still friends till today from the US who were part of FESTAC from the onset. Cut it long story short, in 1977, January 15th, we held FESTAC up until February 12th.
It was a month-long event.
It was a month-long event. And all over the world, people came. Like I said, I met a lot of friends that we are still friends till today.
It was a festival.
It was a real festival, big.
We have FESTAC Town in Lagos today.
In Lagos. And all of us members of Langbodo, we are given a flat each in FESTAC Town.
FESTAC Town was built for
Was
the
already
FESTAC
built.
festival.
Was already built. A lot of restaurants here and there. I remember I was on Road 7, and I was given a flat. Every member of Langbodo, which was 160, because we were the maiden edition of the National Drama Troupe, they gave us a flat each. And we understood then that we were going to have it, as our own, incentive for being part of the National Drama Troupe. But a lot of things happened down the line that truncated that. That's not what's important now. What's important is FESTAC held.
And the National Theatre.
And the National Theatre was already ready.
It was built for the festival.
It was built for FESTAC. And the shape of the National Theatre, if you look at it, is like an army cap.
Yeah.
And they say that shape, that idea came from Bulgaria, But bottom line is, it was built in Lagos.
Langbodo was acted in that theatre?
It was the first play on the stage.
And you were part
and
of
I was
that
part
play.
of, we were 160 of us, including Sam Loco, Marty Marion, Madadzi, Wale Ogunyemi was the one who wrote the play. Initially, the play was Ogboju Ode Ninu Igbo Irunmole, which Wale Soyinka translated into Forest of the Thousand Demons, and Wale Ogunyemi of blessed memory now adapted it to stage play, now called it Langbodo. And it told a vivid story of what a people could be like. With the life of a people. Oh, by the way, Fagunwa, the original writer of the book Ogbojode Ninu Igbo Irunmole, by the 7th of December, we are going to celebrate 60th, death of Dio Fagunwa at UI. So he was the one who wrote the play, the book initially. And so FESTAC, accepted Langbodo to be, Nigeria accepted Langbodo to be the play for their drama entry. And Demazin Woko, Children of Paradise, was supposed to be the dance part of the FESTAC. So they were the national dance troupe, while we were the national drama troupe. And FESTAC held. And a lot of people came to FESTAC, brought all their vibrant cultures, brought all their vibrant artistic imperatives to help each other, to see each other as one. That is people of color around the world.
Now let me make this point.
Okay.
Langbodo, young persons might not even know the content.
Yes.
Let's break it down. Is Langbodo a play that explored the themes of power, corruption, and the consequences of unchecked authority?
Yes, it played that role also. There's a portion, a line in Langbodo, which is, Mother Earth, emerge from the bowel of the earth and come to our aid. That was one of the regrets of one of the hunters when they got to Mount Langbodo and discovered that what they were looking for in Mount Langbodo is in their community.
So Langbodo was a mount.
Well, it's a mountain. Okay, Langbodo, that's what it is in Yoruba. They left their town in search of peace on Mount Langbodo. They got there and then they were told that Langbodo is in your community. Go back there, which is what Nigeria is. We need to go back to the roots. We need to go back to the basics.
So wait till you they look for Sokoto
Sokoto dey for our Sokoto pocket. So They got there only to realize that Mount Langbodo is in your community. Go and look for it. Go and hold each other tight. Go and look at all the strength underlying in your existential, provisional, endowment that God already gave you.
So that play was saying that the solution you seek is within you.
Is within you. And that's what this country is all about. That's what we need to begin to look at, the inside.
Did that story delve into the oppressive nature of tyrannical rulers?
Oh, that's a play that I think should be revisited.
Why?
Because there are a lot of things in it that can inspire, better, minds, that can inspire greater minds.
Do you see some of the characterization in Langbodo in some of our leaders?
Yes. Yes. Like, for instance, old Akaraogun knew that he wasn't going to be able to continue with the race. And then old Akaraogun said, I need a younger Akaraogun. And then now he has to search for a younger Akaraogun who will continue the race. Do our leaders never know when to stop? Do our leaders ever know when they should begin to designate responsibility to the younger ones? Is it not the same group of people who have been, recycling and recycling and recycling and recycling?
But they are younger ones.
When there are younger ones, they could give in.
But we have younger ones at the moment. Is Seyi Makinde not a younger one?
Well, thank God.
Are the governors not younger ones?
Thank God for that. But in the same vein, that is just beginning to happen because we suddenly realize that what the path we have been treading is not quite the way it should be.
But I would ask, are the younger ones even better?
That's another question again. Are the younger ones even better? Or were the younger ones given the enabling environment from the start to be able to get into position of responsibility now and be able to, but you don't have experience mean you have tried, you have done it. What you have never done, you can never be experienced in it. It's like somebody putting a sign outside and say, we need worker in this place. Somebody with 3 years experience. Is there a way of saying that if I just graduated from school, I can get a job? First, I have to get a job to work before I have experience to be able to qualify for that. So we need to give a enabling environment to our youths. We need to disaggregate responsibility for them. They are not well utilized. A lot of youths come to the gallery and I have discussion with them and I'm like, oh my God, our youths are brilliant. Our youths have a lot to offer. But where's the enabling environment for them to prove their worth? So, what I'm saying is, even if we have the younger generation in office now, we need more of that. We haven't had enough. And so, old Akaraogun started searching for a younger Akaraogun. And the first person that walked up to him, he says, you want to become the younger Akaraogun? He said, yes. But what we need is a servant. And the other one said, servant? Me? A servant? He turned his back. And then he said, you see? The next person who walks up, he said, we need a younger Akaraogun. What do you think? How do you think you are going to cope? He said, I'm a servant in order to be leader of my people.
That's philosophical.
That's philosophical.
I have some spiritual undertone.
Yes, so a leader is a servant of his own people. But is that what it is we are experiencing? Are they going in there to serve the people?
Now, in Langbodo, was there resistance and rebellion?
Oh yeah. Okay, another part was when Kako Onikumekun, Kako of the Leopard Club, was recruited to be part of the hunters. There were 7 hunters who were to go on this expedition. And his wife, you know, being a woman, the typical woman that she is, that look, Kako, you cannot leave me and go on this journey. Kako said, no, I've got to go serve my people. And Paminku, that's her name. Paminku mo nílẹ̀ lókè ọ̀dàn. Sáré wá wo ro ọkọ rẹ̀, àní ó jẹ kò jẹ, àní ó mu kò mu, ó wá tẹnu gọngọ sí kòtò. So Paminku said, no, you cannot go, you cannot leave me. Don't make me a widow all of a sudden, you know, in the middle of my life. No, you cannot. Kako said, I've got to serve my people. Unfortunately, Kako struck Paminku.
He did?
He did.
What happened to Paminku?
Paminku, of course, was struck. The rest is history. And Kako went on the mission for his own people. How many people will... I'm not saying everybody should be killing their wives. That's not the point, because you want to go and serve. But that shows a strong dedication, commitment to your people.
So did he meet tragedy on his part?
Oh, of course. At a point, when things were not the way it should be, they had to do some kind of atonement. You know, at a point, they have to do some form of atonement, that your wife that you treated the way you treated her may have been the reason why our way is not, you know, it's not going the way it should be going. You know, so down the line, every one of us, we have a moment where we look back, when we have a flashback. You know, what was I doing? Why was I doing what I was doing? To whom was I doing it? You know, and so on and so forth. Then you seek atonement. Nigeria, we need to begin to seek atonement.
And if we don't?
And if we don't, it's our own
tragedy
peril.
will occur?
Tragedy will occur. Even though I never pray for tragedy, because I'm a very, very positively minded person.
In Langbodo, Oguyemi infused the play with spiritual and cultural symbolism.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, he did.
Drawing on Yoruba cosmology and mythology.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this added depth to the narrative.
Yes.
And reflected the rich cultural heritage of the African continent.
African culture, yes.
And it achieved that FESTAC objective.
It did. Indeed, it did. You know, one very good thing about Langbodo is that it's not a play that only focuses on one culture only.
Okay.
Langbodo embraces all the Nigerian culture. It embraces all of them. Like, there is Efik scene, there is Hausa scene, there is Fulani scene, there is Igbo scene, there is Benin Kingdom scene. All of that are all encompassed.
But it's mainly a Yoruba play.
Well, the person who wrote it is a Yoruba man, starting from that. But the focus is Nigeria as a country and Africa as a continent.
And it came out top at the festival.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And so we went through all of that to teach, to express the narrative to the people of how a people should live, how a people should be. What then happened? Months or years after, some hypocrites turned around to say that FESTAC was the genesis of our problem in this country.
Were there witches and wizards at the festival?
No, I didn't see any.
You didn't see any?
I didn't see any witches or wizards there. And if there were witches and wizards, what's wrong with witches and wizards? If there are witches and wizards to give positive things.
Okay, you have positive witches?
Yes.
And positive wizards?
Yes.
You know them?
Yeah, well, anybody who can create anything extraordinary is a witch. As far as I'm concerned.
Are you a witch?
I'm a witch.
Tell me about your witchcraft.
My witchcraft it reflects in my work. Because I do something that goes beyond the ordinary. So it is in this part of the world that we call witches bad things. I've met with some ladies, you know, in Britain or in America who will tell you categorically that we are witches. But you will never see them, stain of blood of anybody in their mouth. And yet they call themselves witches. But witches are the one, witches in this context are the ones who are thinking about how to make life a greater place to be.
They come out with innovation.
With innovations.
So is that why they
technologically
say he's a computer wizard?
Yes, that's why they will say. I was coming to that. That says, oh, that guy's a computer wizard. So we use all these words, though we use it interchangeably, but why should we be focusing on the negative part of that word when you are using it?
Before we go off Langbodo,
okay,
Sam Loco was one of the main characters.
He was the one who played New Akaraogun, the young Akaraogun.
Tell me about his role in that play.
He was the one who played the major part of the play, which is Akaraogun. He was the one who was able to answer old Akaraogun in a way that convinced him that definitely this one will be a leader of his people, because he claims that a servant is a leader of his own people. So Sam Loco played that role of young Akaraogun, and he played Sam Loco, without question, was a wizard
on stage. By 1977, he was that good.
Oh, well, he was that good before he came, with the Hotel de Jordan of the Benin.
He featured in Hotel de Jordan?
Oh, yeah, he's a major. He played the role of Okata Biribiri, which is a major role in Hotel de Jordan.
I can remember Chief Aja,
Usi Obaifo, and all those things. Most of those characters were with us in Langbodo, by the way.
I see.
Oluwole Oni, David Oteri, who was, I think, the pastor. Is a pastor, the prophet or whatever, David Oteri. Martin Marion was also part of so he was technically, members of the Hotel de Jordan that were the crew that formed Langbodo for the Benin quarter.
Now, picture Sam Loco on the stage in 1977. Describe it.
Brilliant. You got to be very, very strong to act with Sam Loco. And I'm going to tell everybody that now. About whoever may have acted with Sam Loco, we agree, we say, today you are right. You are with Sam Loco. Like, for instance, Sam Loco and I, we had this way of exchanging pleasantry. I call him Akara, and he calls me Agidi. And then you're on stage with Sam Loco, you and him facing each other. You dare not look at Sam Loco's eyes, in the eyes.
Why?
It will confuse you. Because he gives his line, and underneath he says other things that will make you laugh and you go out of character. What a phenomenon. Oh, Sam Loco was phenomenal. When you say Akara, agree. But your director will not hear that. The audience, you are the one who will hear it. And we will make you want to throw you off balance. You say Akara. Say Akara.
Akara.
Agree. So, you will.
Yeah.
Oh, he was such a witty, fantastic actor.
And we later saw that in Nollywood.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So I had the honor of being with, and in fact, after FESTAC, we ended up living together for 12 years.
In Ibadan?
Yeah, at Shasha. That's where we were living together.
What was it like living with him?
Oh, so much fun. So much fun. So much to learn from Sam Loco.
What was his personality like?
His personality is, Sam Loco is when Sam Loco is anywhere, you know he's there. You can't miss his presence. He's there. Some people will almost say he's very domineering. But the thing is, he has a lot of things to say. So you have to, hang around with him and then make your contribution when you can, But Sam will make everybody laugh, to stupor.
He was funny.
Oh, he was funny.
So what we saw in Nollywood is the real Sam Loco.
The real Sam Loco. Is the real Sam Loco. We lived together. Every evening we gathered to drink together, you know. If I should tell you this, on January 6th, 1986, I said to myself that I'm no longer drinking beer. And it was because all we were doing there was drinking beer. And I just said to myself, I have to come up with something this year that I'm going to say no to. And ever since, beer has not touched this my mouth.
But Sam Loco did not stop drinking.
Why
beer.
will he stop drinking? But we were still friends. We were still meeting every evening. We met every evening. And I took part in a lot of his productions for BCOS and also for NTA. So every evening we gathered. And it was a wonderful, wonderful person. Most of the characters that we had in Langbodo, major characters, were from Benin. Matimerion played Sam Loco played Akarogun. Matimerion played Efoye. Achilles Keru played Oloiyo. All those guys. Matimerion played the bird, you know. So Benin people were quite, you know, formidable.
Why? Why was it like that? Was there an audition?
Oh, there was an audition. We had audition at the University of Ibadan, you know, which was where we started in 1976. We were camped right from September 1976. All of us who came for audition, they ended up taking 160 people from all over the country.
What was your role in Langbodo?
My role was, I was a drummer. I was playing drum. And I played the role of an elder, you know, one of the elders in the city, you know, of Langbodo, you know. And I also played two other roles. Drummer 1, elder 2, 3, you know. I played that. And I also sang.
Yes, you sing.
Yes, I do.
Can you remember some of the songs in Langbodo?
Well, I remember the one Baba Adebayo Faliti taught us.
He was part of Langbodo?
He was a consultant in Langbodo. All the Yoruba songs, Baba was instrumental to providing them. He would teach us, like, Eyi aye se me mo, Eyi aye mi se me mo, Ibi aye yi lo me mo, Eyi aye mi se me mo, Eye àkókò kò sùn ó kò rí, Eyi aye mi se me mo, Eye arẹ̀rẹ̀ kò sùn àkàyà, Ebi aye mi se me mo, Eye olóbùrò kò sùn ó kọ̀ fún, Eyi aye mi se me mo, Anogodo anajeja o, Atúnájà lẹ́kìtì nọ́ọ̀bù níjẹ̀bú, Atúná àkẹsàn baálẹ̀ ọjà, Èyí ayé mi ṣe mẹ́mọ́ o, Ibi ayé yìí ń lọ. That is where this earth is leading. I do not know. We have tried this. We went the east, we went to the west, to the north, to the south. But I still don't understand where this earth is going. Do you understand where Nigeria is going? If you do, answer.
I thought artists like you were prophets.
Well, I use my artistic imperative in ways where I could, like the prophet uses his prophetic imperative.
So what do you see?
What I see is that we need to come together. We need to realize that our destiny is in our hand. We need to stop looking outside for everything. When I went to address the U.S. Congress in 2016, I said to them when they were asking me about what do I want America to do for us concerning IDPs, internationally displaced people, I said, all I need from America, if they be kind enough, is to give us intelligence gathering. We don't need their soldiers. We have soldiers on the ground there who are very competent. Give us intelligence gathering, and that's it. We will know how to now process it.
You know, when you were singing,
Yes.
you reminded me of Adebayo Faliti.
Oh, my Lord.
I think I had the opportunity of sitting with him once.
You did.
And I interviewed him.
What a great man.
Yes.
What a great man.
He taught you guys that song.
Yeah, he taught us many songs.
Who was he?
Adebayo Faliti was such a gift to Yoruba man, to Yoruba people. He's a gift to Nigeria and a gift to the whole wide world. Wherever they knew about Adebayo Faliti, they knew a dynamic, a great, a wonderful, a mad man. Won't you say, what do you mean by mad?
What do you mean by mad?
Make a difference. One who makes a difference is the mad one.
He was one of the mad people.
He was one of the mad people that Nigeria ever produced.
I remember his cap.
Yes. That's making a difference.
Can you remember some of the drum beats in Langbodo?
Oh, many. Oh, Ali Hayedo Awaralayo Uloko. That was the part that I played. Naso werioge wamazo egwerie o egwerie o egwerie o oh,
that's
God.
Benin.
That's Benin, and I played that drum. I played the rhythm for that song. Or the Calabar song. Zao iwasam zao iwasam. All those we learned. The songs from the north. Look, Nigeria is a vibrant country if only we realize that. And I hope I will not get to the point that I'll begin to project something that will make me feel like I'm hopeless. And whereas I'm not hopeless. I'm a very positive person.
Before we leave the FESTAC talk,
yes,
many of you in the drama troupe were supposed to get one of the flats, or
yes,
we get flats.
Yes, we were giving one each.
I remember Obasanjo visiting the drama group.
Yes.
What happened in that meeting?
Well,
Obasanjo was the head of state then.
It was a disaster. The meeting was a disaster.
How?
What happened was, I told you, 160 of us, and some of our members, they were some who is who in their respective states. Right? So some of them, and the way they structured it was that all of us who were private individuals, that this not working for any government establishment, they position us, on a certain scale. I was on level, I think I was on level 9 when we started. By the time we were going out of Langbodo, I was on level 11. Sam Loco was on level 15 by the time we were going out. So those who were not government officials were given 2 naira per day.
Because they were receiving salary.
Because they were receiving salary in their respective places of work. So, some of the Atilogu dancers, Okachama of Ihiala, there was a little boy there, Ebenezer, who was, Ebenezer must have been about 8 or 9 years old at the time. So some of them pulled their 2 naira per day with their salary together. They were not earning up to what Ebenezer was earning. And they felt spited by that. Okay, when that came up, that, I'm getting 2 naira, this stupid 2 naira. They said, well, you have your salary going on in your respective states. You will go back to it whenever you are done here. And field food is being given. They said, no, okay, if you are not pleased with that, they gave everybody form. Fill out the form if you want to be a full member staff of the National Drama Troupe. So they shared the form for everybody, and I filled it. I was ready to continually be a member of the National Drama Troupe. But the day President Obasanjo now came,
he was military head of state.
He was military head of state then. And I think we held a meeting in one of the restaurants, in FESTAC town. And so some people just felt like, because after FESTAC, February 12, those who came, who were just, visitors or guests, they already left. We were still there till April because they were working on establishing us as a full-fledged national drama troupe. So we were still around on contract. So they gave everybody the form to fill. And I said, yes, I'd be happy to become a member of the national drama troupe. But some people that day said, look, why did you wait this long before you brought the form to us? Oh, all this while that I've been getting 2 naira per day, are you going to pay me arrears? I'm a PAMSEC in my country.
They were telling the military head of state.
They were telling the military head of state.
Obasanjo?
Yes, I'm a PAMSEC in my state. Then Professor Adelugba, the director, said, if you are PAMSEC, you are talking to the head of state. So you can be PAMSEC in your state, but you are not head of state. So shut up. No, we can't shut up. No, keep quiet. We cannot keep quiet. And at the point...
And Obasanjo was listening.
Oh, he was listening. At the point, the man get frustrated. He just stood up, whoop, and all his aides stood up with him, and he left the place. And that was the end of Langbodo National Drama Troupe.
That was the end?
That was the end.
None of you got the flats?
No, not the first got. Because immediately after the following day, they gave us, all of us, forms to fill out where did you come from, so that they will give you allowance that will take you to where you come from. You know, and then your salary, how much are we owing you, what contribution did you make? Because I was also making adire as part of the costumes. So the company owed me money, and they asked me to write in order to get my money. I wrote, and they calculated everything. Boom. They prayed everybody off, and they say, go. So a week after the meeting, National Drama Troupe would have been was disbanded.
That Obasanjo that was so calm in that meeting.
Yes.
Compare him to the Baba of today.
I think we just didn't realize. Maybe if that meeting had been held differently, perhaps that disbandedness would not have happened. I don't know. I thought it was calm. I thought they provoked him, but some people may not have been provoked. If it were to be somebody else.
Okay.
I'm not, trying to be critical here, but I'm just trying to reason that perhaps if he had handled it differently, but a lot of abuse passed around that day, that he felt spited.
Now, FESTAC gone.
Yes.
National Theatre.
Yes.
After some years.
Yes.
Became a theatre of shame.
Yes.
What's wrong with us?
That's part of what I'm still talking about. Sometimes we don't understand the importance of what we have on our hand. And I think that's part of the reason why National Theatre was not seen as an asset. A lot of controversies have passed over it. I don't know what currently the situation is, but I think Lagos state government stepped in. And I know some people, some individual had opted to buy it, and they would have developed something out of it. But I don't want to, and I think the central bank stepped into it at a point. What became, that I think that was Emefiele's era. That something, the central bank, stepped into it, and I don't know where they ended up. So don't let me talk about the details of what became of National Theatre. But the bottom line is, it is some form of enlistment, some form of endowment that should have been reasons why more people keep coming to Nigeria to come and see such an edifice in Lagos. But can you blame anybody when some religious sect were saying that FESTAC should be squashed? That FESTAC was the genesis of the misfortune we have in this country. That it was then all the orishas in the world were brought to Nigeria. Where did they get all that from?
Were you one of the orishas?
See, that's what they are saying in essence.
But you can be an art orisha, is it not?
So what's wrong with that?
Today you are a legend in the art.
So what's wrong with being an orisha? I don't see anything wrong with being an orisha.
Are you just joining this broadcast? I'm discussing with Tunde Odunlade, a pride of Nigeria when it comes to arts. Yes, it was at FESTAC 77, also known as Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture.
Yes.
That Odunlade found the secret of the beautiful rhythm of the African culture.
Yes, I did.
That was where you found it?
Yes.
Since then, Odunlade has not stopped dancing to the meaning of art.
Never. Till I die.
So Tunde Odunlade is a cultural being.
Thank you. Thank you.
He is a print and textile artist that interprets cultural forms.
Yes.
Print and textile artist.
Yes.
You'll tell me about that soon. Olatubosu Yinka, thank you for watching. I'm happy you're here. Rashid Adebayo Adedeji Ibrahim is watching. Thank you.
Yes.
Michael Chidindo says, good afternoon, Radio Man. I am in class this afternoon. Thank you for being in class. The lecturer is Tunde Odunlade. I'm one of the students asking him to interpret. And I must say that Malik Sinhatu says good afternoon to us.
Oh, good afternoon.
Fagbola Timitokwe Adini is saying hello to you.
Hello.
He says we need people like Pa Odunlade to speak sense to our young persons.
Thank you. I do it all the time in the gallery, everywhere I go.
Oyewale Okpeyemi is saying hello to you.
Hello. Okweyemi, how are you?
Akinola Olumide says, so painful Nigeria has not utilized its great men.
Oh.
Has Nigeria utilized you well enough?
Well, I've utilized myself, and I think that's what counts.
But Nigeria have engaged you on different occasions. Remember when we were fighting for debt relief?
Yeah, that's true.
You were part of it.
There you go. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
Yes. When we were owing debt to Paris Club, World Bank, IMF, and DFID, I was called upon to curate an art exhibition that will show the calamitous repercussion of this external debt. And in the long run, we were giving debt relief. So I'm happy I played a role in that.
We were given debt relief.
Yes.
Have you gone back to check how much we have borrowed since then?
That's another disaster. That's, again, part of what I've been saying. So, how do I feel good in a situation? Because we reduced the debt to nothing. We reduced it to nothing. So how did we spring back? Not springing forth. We're supposed to be, you know the Sankofa proverbial Ghanaian bird that looks back. The bird looks back to catch its egg. That means in order for you to spring forth, first you have to see where you're coming from. That's what that proverb, Sankofa, that's what it means. But are we looking back? In order to spring forth?
When you were talking about 2 naira at FESTAC,
yes.
2 naira, that was what you were paid.
That's what they were paid.
So 2 naira.
My salary then.
And that was big money.
Oh, that was big money then.
2 naira.
Yes, 2 naira per day.
We never have 2 naira anymore.
No,
it's gone.
You don't even you don't even have 20 naira.
That could tell you the value of the naira at that time.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And that's what they were paying those palm secs, those people who are government officials, that's what they were paying them per day. So 16 naira in a month, plus whatever their salary was in their respective.
What could 16 naira give you in 1977?
Oh, could give you a lot. When I first went to, you even talking about 1977? When I first went to Britain in 1981, my ticket was 517 naira. Lagos, London, Lagos.
I can give you back that ticket money now.
Oh.
To appreciate your travel.
And that's even in 1981. So you can imagine right around that 77, that ticket wouldn't have been more than 300 naira.
So if you want to go to London now, you should be spending about 3
And that's
million.
not even enough to put air into your tire of your car. A vulcanizer will take that one from you and say,
That tells you how far things
how
have
far
degenerated.
things have really degenerated.
Why Kid Gabriel says this country called Nigeria has everything to get it right.
Yes.
But our mindset is very shallow.
Very, very shallow. Very. You know, another thing again, Edmond, is that we only do one business in Nigeria.
And what's that?
Whatever it is, somebody is able to make some success out of. Now, POS is the end thing now. There's a time when it was pure water. There's a time when it was another thing. So it shows that people are not creative. But they have all of that. They have that creative tendency in them that for some reason they will not just use. Now, everywhere you go now, gas station. That's what's in vogue now. Or hotels. Hotel is even good. If you build an hotel, it means you are encouraging tourism. But which tourist is coming to use it when you have not done all the things you need to do? You know how I describe tourism? Honey inside rock. Onyino apata. Honey inside rock. When they let to my onyino apata, kone weno ake. One who is going to eat honey inside the rock will not care about the mouth of his axe. Are we using that axe well enough to be able to create that, space that tourists need to come to? It's not just by words of mouth.
You've told me about a lake.
Yes. Aduawaye Iyake Lake.
Is that not a super tourism attraction?
It is a big tourism attraction. But you will go there, you will not have a place to stay. There is no hotel in Aduawaye. There is no restaurant there that I can eat. Just recently, I donated skill acquisition to the community as part of this year's festival. I sent my staff there to go and teach them how to make adire, so that if they have adire, they can be those young folks can be doing it. So when visitors come to the town, they can buy some form of souvenir. No, I got it from Aduawaye when I went there. That's why I decided to give the skill. So now what I'm expecting is for the community to now empower those youths.
Government need to come in.
Government need to come in.
It's a suspended lake, right?
It is a suspended lake that none of its type in the world.
You can see the picture here.
Yes, the one that is like it, it's in Colorado, which I've been to before, in Colorado. But that one is man-made. They spend billions of dollars to build it. But this one is naturally given.
In Aduawaye.
In Aduawaye.
And we're not making millions.
And we are not making even thousands.
Are you a professor?
Well, UCLA made me one.
Because I can see here.
Yes.
There's a letter I have here.
Okay.
You can put that letter on the screen. From the University of California, Los Angeles. This is February 26, 2001. In this letter, you were addressed as Professor Tunde Samuel Odunlade.
And that's my immigration name, Tunde Samuel Odunlade.
Are you a professor?
You know what? It's something I don't really like to, talk about.
Why?
Simply what a professor means is a teacher. So if you say, are you a teacher? Yes, I'm a teacher. But in this part of the world, we make so much big deal out of it. We make so much big deal out of it. UCLA addresses me as Professor Samuel Babatunde Odunlade. And to them, it simply means a teacher. In French, is le professeur, the teacher. So, and anybody who has what to give, who has what to offer, is a professor in his own right.
I have,
But what are you a professor for if you are not professoring anything that we can see tangibly?
I have a letter here. War on Want.
Yes.
The campaign against
Poverty.
world poverty.
Yes.
Dear Tunde Odunlade, I wanted to thank you for sending your work
Yes.
to the art show at Savannah and for agreeing to support our work
Yes.
in Africa.
And this was in London.
Well done for what you do for Africa. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
You supported the war.
Yes. On
Want.
Yes.
What was it about?
It's just like it said, it's like a way to eradicate poverty. Look, whichever way you look at it, poverty is a sin. Anybody who is poor will have a poor attitude towards life. That does not mean on the inside of him, he doesn't have things that can make him not poor as in poor. But unfortunately, when your society makes you as such, then it becomes a sin. One singer, Max Romeo or whatever, I'm putting it to you, poverty is a sin. Uptown babies don't cry, they don't know what hungry is like. They have mommy, nanny.
There are poor people all over
All
Nigeria.
all over Nigeria.
They surround you.
And nobody should have business being poor. God did not create. You know what? You know why I put it? There is enough for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed.
Can you use your art to trigger mental revolution?
Oh, I've done that. For those who care to look at it, for those who come to my world. You know, my ringing tone in America is welcome to my world. The world of Tunde Odunlade, where I make you get inspired using my art as a tool.
Gardner Center for Art.
For the art, Brighton, Sussex.
And this was 1981.
That was 1981.
Exhibition of Batik by Tunde Odunlade.
Yes, sir.
And this took place in the United Kingdom.
Yes, United Kingdom, Brighton, Sussex. Yes.
You are widely traveled.
Thank God. To God be the glory on that.
You are growing old.
Everyone does.
Yet you keep traveling.
Yes, because the more you do, the more you see the need to do.
You keep exhibiting artwork.
The more I exhibit, the more I see the need to exhibit.
What is that exhibition that thrilled you so well?
There was one that I had that CNN came to cover. And that was in Atlanta, Georgia. And then it was all about, you know, showcasing Nigerians' importance in the arena of art. And so I took a group of people, of artists from Nigeria there. And after the opening of the show, we had people on a long line waiting to get our autograph. Having done the exhibit, and I put up a performance that was in fact on CNN too, with the group that I took of drummers, and I was singing, you know. And then the next thing I saw is somebody came to me and said, I think I'm going to get CNN to come and cover this show. And lo and behold, CNN came thereafter with all their gadgets, and the producer, Judy Asset, came and whispered into me, Tunde, do you realize you are going to be the first Nigerian artist to appear on CNN? I said, is that correct? He said, yeah. And so they recorded it. That was in November 1992. Then I'd even returned to Nigeria January 3rd, 1993, when it was relayed. And then you couldn't get CNN or any of this international television if you didn't have those huge dishes then.
Yes, I remember.
And there was one at Premier Hotel and one on Ring Road, right on this Ring Road here, that Dayuaki Kugbe, was selling, to people, and you have to be extremely rich to be able to afford one. So I brought my family to Premier Hotel to come and watch me on CNN. That was a pleasure.
And your family was happy.
And my family was happy.
You are a star.
That after all, this man is doing something. It's not just going there wasting his time and wasting our time here.
In 1982, the University of Ibadan wrote you a letter.
Yes, sir.
Annual African Literature Conference will be taking place this year.
Yes.
Between August 15
yes.
and 19th at the Conference Center.
Yes.
We are expecting participants from Africa, Europe, and the United States
yes.
of America.
Yes.
You are hereby invited to exhibit your works on this occasion, particularly during the opening ceremonies on Monday,
yes.
16th of August.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Yes.
With best wishes, sign, Ni Oshudari, coordinator.
Yes.
70th Ibadan Annual African Literature Conference.
Yes, that was a brilliant conference we had. And I remember one story around that. Well, while I was setting up my work, I saw this gentleman sitting afar from where I was. He was there. Then the next day, he came again, and he was still sitting watching me as I was doing my thing. Then the third day, he came. And on the third day, while I was packing up, he came to me and said, "Young man, I've been watching you doing what you've been doing in the last 3 days. Would you want me to come and interview you? This is my card." And I took his card, and it turned out to be that he was a journalist with a National Concord newspaper. And that is Dele Omotunde, one of the people who founded Tell magazine. And he said, "Can I come to your studio to interview you?" And then he came, and the interview lasted for 3 days. He would come in the morning, and then we were going to the studio, watching me as I was walking. He will ask questions intermittently, and I will answer, and he's still watching. And when it was time for lunch, this is the part that I want to talk about. When it was time for lunch, I'd already told my wife to prepare some sumptuous meal of pounded yam and Eran Igbe, bushmeat. So when it was time for lunch, I said, let's go and eat. So we went to the living room from the studio. We got there, all the food covered with antimacassar. We opened the antimacassar, and I handed him a plate, and he just took the plate, and he dipped his hand into his bag and brought out his lunch. He had already packed his lunch, sandwich, and he put it on the plate. And I said, "All this pounded yam is going to go waste?" He said, "Well, when I'm at work, I want to strictly focus on work. So I'm not here for any form of jamboree."
Yeah.
I was really, really impressed by that man. Most journalists these days, is that what you will find them doing? I almost cried. Then the next day, I will still manage to cook, hoping that he will change his mind. He already had his lunch. The third day, he had his lunch. And I said to him, "You are going places, sir." And he became one of the people who founded Tell magazine. Now, let's go back a little bit to the CNN interview. Susan Rooks was the one who presented the interview. And in our presentation, she made a statement. Tunde, Odunlade, and the Nigerian artists have been using their art to bridge the gap between cultures, a phenomenon the diplomats are yet to achieve. End of quote.
How did that make you feel?
It makes me feel like I'm doing something.
You are doing something.
It makes me feel like I'm doing something, and I should continue with what it is that I'm doing.
Tunde Odunlade uses his environment as the basis of his interventions. He wants life abundance for the people.
Yes.
Tunde Odunlade is an activist artist.
Yes.
He does not create art. He does not create art for art's
For
sake.
art's sake, no.
Rather,
art with a purpose.
He's committed to art with a purpose.
Yes.
The use of art to reach across cultural differences.
Yes, matters to me.
You use art to raise awareness.
Yes.
Among the people.
Yes.
And the international community.
Yes.
And you talk about the challenges.
Yes.
Of Nigeria.
Menacing us.
And Africa.
Yes. And even the world, because there's no perfect place in the world.
Can I say your images are reflections of deep Yoruba history and modern-day life in Nigeria?
Well, for one, I'm a Yoruba man, so that's my root, you know. But it's just that I think I think globally, but act locally. So I think globally, but act locally. You have to do things within the circumstances of where you belong, but keeping in mind there are places around the world that you have to fathom into what you're doing. You know, and talking about art with a purpose, you know, to me, Nigeria, which is the challenges I always give to our artists, even the artists in the gallery, that we can't afford to depend on art for art's sake for now. Let's use art to create awareness. Let's use art to create, to build a virile nation. And when I say art now, I mean art in its own ramification. Poetry, prose, visual art, film, drama, music, or whatever. Even our architecture has to reflect that we are still a developing nation. And America in the past, now what is known of American art is abstract art. That's if you want to ask, if you ask anybody, how do you describe American art? They say, oh, American is known for abstract. Like people like Jackson Pollock, you know, who have made abstract art become popular, you know, all over the world. But bottom line is, in the past, when America was still growing, they used art a lot. I will give an example of one of the art that was popular in those days in America. One artist drew a young man of about 12 years old standing in front of a supermarket, of a superstore, in the middle of below freezing, when it was really cold, but did not have any form of warm clothes to keep him warm. All right? And while he was there chilling out, a lady walked out of the superstore with her dog, and the dog was wearing fur. What does the dog need a fur for? But the lady showing her affluence. And here's him. And the boy just said, oh, how I wish I was that dog.
Now,
those are the kind of art that America used to fight oppression those days.
After listening to some of your songs, you sing.
Yes.
This is what I wrote about you.
Okay.
I said the music Odunlade plays is a wake-up call for achieving progress.
It is, yes.
In his music is poetry.
Yes.
Poetry is escapade, right?
Yes.
Escapade is mixing words to create knowledge.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yes, that's what I do. There's a song that I call Sing a Song of Joy when neighbor. Sing a song of love your neighbor. Sing a song of justice for peace around the world. Sing a song of hope for children. Sing a song of rejoicing spirit. Sing that song of prayer. You have a voice with this new song to sing. You have a voice with this new song to sing. That's a song that calls for everybody to come out and then understand clearly their role as individual. Okay. Sing a song of hope for children.
We have a caller here. Mr. Chukwemeka Ezundo.
They are guests in the studio about some local. 3 days ago, I was reading something on Facebook, and that was exactly the same thing the person was writing. So, but I want to ask a question. Like he rightfully pointed, flying from UK from Nigeria to UK at 500, and it's the same old people who benefited from post-independent, pre-independent, who went to public school, but literally have decided to kill everything in Nigeria. The same set of people who enjoyed Nigeria. Like you are talking about FESTAC 70 something. I don't know the actual year. Do you know that in UK here they have what we call Notting Hill Carnival that is being hosted every year? UK government makes billions of pounds from it. Even the Nigerian citizens or Nigerian community also participate in it. They don't call it any name. You will see all manner of artworks. But in Nigeria, religion and ethnicity have divided the nation, have polarized everything. Everything in Nigeria is all politics. If you talk about, they'll call you winch. They'll call you wizard. They destroy our ancestral heritage, all in the name of religion. 90% or 95% of Nigeria prayer points are man-made. God give us good road. God give us electricity. God give us this. Can God ever jump down from heaven to the earth to build a road? How do we survive? How do we develop? Baba, as you are in the studio, you have voice. Speak to your people in the local language that they will understand. Let them know that they are close to their graveyards, each and every one of them. Yes. They have benefited everything. That is why tomorrow I am still blaming Osibajo, who could not stand up and say the truth when it all matters. They say you take a bow when the ovation is high, but he could not stand up to speak out. He has everything. He has a British passport. He can fly to anywhere in the world. Still, one person wants to own from Lagos to Imo State. The other person wants to own from Imo State to border of Nigeria and Cameroon. What kind of human are we? What kind of leader do we? I've been saying it and people keep laughing. In the next 20 years or 30 years, when these people are in their wheelchairs, in their various homes, the youths whom they have groomed with all evil will start selling or harvesting their organs. Because from 1999 to tomorrow, all we learn is corruption. Corruption, corruption, corruption. Now you cannot travel on the road from Lagos to Owerri. You cannot travel on the road from Abuja to Common Kaduna. What kind of elders do we have in Nigeria with gray hair? The pastors are at one place lying, telling you to pray that God will jump down and give you this and that. Telling you that Jesus Christ delivered somebody who has delivered somebody that was blind from birth. Telling you all manner of lies. I work in a hospital. Do you know how many people that we are dead in my present and we are revived alive and they're still living till today? It's only in Nigeria they will tell you to drink. Who does that?
Okay.
Shame to Nigeria. I wish I was never in Nigeria.
All right.
I wish.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want me to respond?
Yes, please respond.
Yes, please. My brother, I share your position, and you will recall that Mr. Obilo mentioned that my style of art, it's not what you want to call art for art's sake, but art with a purpose. Art with a purpose in nation building. Art is with a purpose in awareness creation. You see, some of us are just lonely voice in the wilderness. Unfortunately, I use my art to. Oh, let me tell you this: when I went to the National Assembly in 2009, and it was to talk about the recognition of youth in Nigeria, and I was part of the panelists. There were quite a number of very important people there. Governor Charles Okoro, Richard Okorocha was part of the panelists.
Rochas
Okorocha
yes.
was part of the panelists. And when it was my time to speak, I told everybody in the hall who is below 35, who is above 35, to stand up. And they all stood up. And I said, do you know why I asked you to stand up? They said they don't know. I'm asking you to stand up because everybody that is sitting, presumably below 35, you are responsible for whatever misfortune they have. And I want you to tender unreserved apology now for them. You see, it's none of us that are lining up on the same bed that is facing the same direction. There are some of us who see things, but again, how far down can your voice go if you are not, being listened to?
Now,
fella shouted till he died. Commissioner Shobu shouted till he died. And all those people. So you are right. Your worry is my worry too.
All right, you have responded as we round off. This is one of your works.
That's one of my works.
You gave me this 5 years ago.
Because you deserve it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I treasure this work.
Oh, wow.
I protect it.
Yes.
Now,
do you still remember what I told you about it?
That is why I'm putting it here.
Good. I want you to give the narration.
No, I want you to give the narration.
You want me to?
You are the artist here.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So, explain this to us.
Well, what it simply means, if you look very carefully, you will see in the center of the piece, there is like a cyclone.
Here?
Yes, right in the middle there, like a cyclone going around and then going to the north, to the south, to the west, to the east. And
this is the south?
That's the south, that's the north, east, and this is the west. So what I'm saying is the mind of an artist circles round all these places, and his mind then comes to a focus that becomes the attention for everybody, for whoever care to learn from.
So where's the focus?
That's the focus in the middle right there. Yes.
Good.
That's the focus right in the middle. And but his mind must have gone round, like there's this is not quite relevant, but let me just throw it in. The Jamaican proverb, they say lies must have gone around the world 3 times before the truth could put on its pant. Jamaican proverb. So the mind of the artist go around the world seeking the truth.
Like a cyclone.
Like a cyclone. Looking for what's where. You go around the world before you make your presentation as a radio man. I've seen you travel to different parts of the world and you come back to give us things that we wouldn't ordinarily have known about until you brought it back. So a mind that cares about what others are doing, that is the mind of a creative person. That's the mind that is full of imagination.
So this is the mind.
That's the mind, yes.
So why did you give me the mind of an artist?
Because you are an artist in your own right. You are artist in your own right. Anybody who can sit down, you know how I describe art? Art is a product of man's intent purpose. Art is something that comes from within and you bring it out. So it doesn't matter how you are expressing yourself. Some will use camera to express yourself. You use your voice to express yourself with what you've seen. So you are an artist in your own right. So that's why you deserve it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is my artwork.
Yes.
That was given to me.
Yes.
In 2018.
Yes.
By the international artist, Tunde Odunlade.
Yes.
I have a book for you.
Oh, you do?
Written by Leo Tolstoy.
I hope it's not the same book that I've been eyeing on the table. I wish I owned this book.
How much land does a man need?
Oh, my Lord.
It's a small but powerful book.
The title says it already.
So this is from State Affairs Studio.
Thank you very much. Folks, look at this.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? How much land does a man need? Like I said earlier, there is enough for everybody's need, but not enough for everybody's greed. So, if people are not greedy, there is enough to go around. There is enough to go around.
Yes.
That nobody should have business being hungry. Nobody should have business with hunger. But when a man cannot say, does not know where to begin to say no to what, that he shouldn't be saying, that he should be saying no to, then there is problem.
Tunde Odunlade.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
You're welcome.
I'm happy you came.
Yes, me too. I'm so glad that I'm here.
Now, yes.
Good.
Tell me about your art gallery.
The art gallery is in Bodija, number 2 Ladoke Akitola Street, and it's off Array Avenue. And it's a gallery that gives to the community. It's more of a community thing now than anything else. I don't see it as commercial. You know, and when I say community, this is a place where young folks come to and they create a niche for themselves. We have over 80 artists. How many works do we sell? The money that I made from my selling my work is what I use basically to support that gallery. But there is need for the gallery to be supported because it's creating awareness. It's making the youth have a sense of belonging. It's giving them a sense of history. So for that reason, I am so happy that we have that gallery. Tunde Odunlade Arts and Culture Connections. This is where connections are made. I connect people with people who have something to contribute for the people.
There's an exhibition going on in the gallery now.
There is an exhibition going on now that I call Art for Sustainable Leadership. An American Fulbright scholar, Dr. Atim Enaira George, just visited Leeds City University, and I knew she was coming. So, and it coincided with the time when I was planning an exhibition based on leadership. And our purpose of coming to Leeds City was to come and teach generational leadership. Because without good leadership, we're not going to get anywhere in this country. Nowhere in the world you can get anywhere without the proper leadership in office. We have hope that the current, leadership in the saddle, will definitely take us to the promised land. I have that hope in him. But Yoruba we say, "Ma fi eyan ẹlẹ́ran ara ṣe ìgbẹ́kẹ̀lé rẹ̀." That is, don't use human being of flesh as your total hope. So if the man does not derail, he has a track record that can take the Nigeria to the desired place.
So the exhibition going on now will last till when?
Will last till 30th November.
So I can walk into the gallery anytime?
Please, anytime, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Sunday from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So what is being exhibited?
There's a lot of paintings, a lot of pen and ink work. It's a multimedia exhibition that has about 16 artists in it. And all the artists using their work to project their artistic imperative and narrating how art is instrumental in the build-up of a virile nation.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Tunde Odunlade is the founder of the International Campaign for Better Arts and Cultural Awareness.
Yes.
A non-profit organization dedicated to using art to bridge gaps between cultures.
A phenomenon the diplomats are yet to achieve.
The Nigerian Artist for A Nation Anew, Nafana, was founded by him in 1999.
Yes, sir.
The mission of Nafana was to rally Nigerian artists to use their arts to stem social voices in the country.
Yes.
Artist and Nation Building, Nigeria at 39
yes,
was one of Odunlade's major exhibitions, a successful project of Nafana.
Yes.
Odunlade's understanding of Nigeria's politics creates its own complications.
Yeah, you cool to say that.
Is politics not the art of resolving complications?
It's supposed to. It's supposed to, if you allow that energy to flow, as it were.
Perhaps we have been entangled by the complications arising from a derailed African nationalism.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening.
So I say, when men on invisible wings take your case to the gods, it is their exploits that captivate hills and valleys.
That's a good one.
And get the ears of the gods.
Yes.
Your will is a low land. Their greed is a high land. From the top, they see your flaws. It's your flaws.
Yes.
Right your flaws.
Yes.
Join us again on Friday. All right.
Yes, at this point, I'd just like to commend the artists who have shared my dreams. There are quite a lot of artists that I would throw up an opinion, and they will go. I would send them to go working, doing their research, and when they come back, they bring back wonderful, wonderful things that they have created from that dream that I just sold to them. And among them, Kola Akitola and my brother Omo Saka Omowa, Omo Tilewa, Adishina. Then, and some of my staff around me, Tulu, Shokumbi, and a host, lot of others like that, who share my dream. It gives me joy that you are able to say something and people are able to create something out of that, just something. It's amazing.
Continue to enjoy your joy.
I will.
Friday is another time on State Affairs. Join us then on this page. I am Edmondo Pillow. Thank you for listening.